Hello and welcome. This is Pylons With Opinions, Episode 3. I'm your co-host, Fulton Logan, alongside Jonah Hill's cousin, Aaron Hodgson. Hodgie, how we doing?
Fuck. I don't know about that resemblance.
I can see it.
I think that's a bit of a stretch, but we'll have to see what other people think.
We'll post a pic on the Instagram later.
Maybe the skinny version.
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure.
We'll see what other people think.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Other than that, I could be doing better. We're coming up on 3 weeks of no sports. And I gotta ask, now how are we thinking about launching a sports podcast in the middle of no sports?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a tough go. I mean, we don't really get to plan out when a global pandemic happens, so I'm not putting it on us. But we'll make do with what we have.
That's fair.
My dad and I, we've been kind of having like a house sports tournament. So we got ping pong going in the garage and then wash and toss throughout the day on the front lawn. So we've been making do with what we got. It's not very exciting, but got to do what you got to do.
That's not bad though. Wash toss can get quite intense.
Oh, dude, yeah, especially with me and my dad. We're very competitive, so it's all about winning. And that'd be cool and all, but like there's nothing to do at home. There's no, I don't really watch that much cable, and when I do, it's sports. So without NHL and NBA, it's kind of tough to watch, especially
exactly,
with
yeah.
opening day was supposed to be like a week ago, and not having baseball around is kind of pissing me off, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. I can't lie, but it'll be over before we know it.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a couple topics we can talk about today, so I guess we can get right into it. If this is your first time, congratulations. Pylons With Opinions is a weekly podcast where we debate some hot topics in sports and other aspects of life that are completely opinion-based, as we have zero credibility. If participating in the show interests you, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PylonsPod and submit topics and questions. Reminder that it's staff parking only outside, and violators will be towed as well if you're parked at a provincial park. Just stay home. I'm losing my mind without sports. It'll go on longer if you don't stay home. And no, this is not a political podcast. Far from it. But this is my plea for everybody to stay home and let's get sports back, because, man, I'm losing my mind. I don't know about you, Haji.
Yeah, I wish definitely people would stay home throughout this. I mean, as much as I do like seeing our Premier Stephen McNeil just completely go up one side and down the other of people, it's I'd rather people just stay home, go through the hard times now, and we'll be able to leave our houses quicker if people decide to stay home instead of getting ticketed. Like I know some, I think it was a couple got ticketed the other day just because they could not hold their hands. But it's simple things like that, just stay away from parks, just stay home. If you want to go for a walk, stay in your neighborhood. If you want to go for a drive, that's fine, but go by yourself. I mean, drives by yourself are still pretty fun, a little lonely, but they can be fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah, if you got a sick playlist, I mean, you can entertain yourself for a good hour.
You got a nice playlist, you got a nice route you want to drive, there you go. It'll take about 2-3 hours out of your day, so highly recommend that.
Sounds like you're an expert at it. You've been doing that a lot.
I've done it a couple times, and you know what? I enjoy it, and especially since the weather's getting a little bit better. You can crank the windows down, go for a nice drive. It's not too bad. But yeah, like you. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, all right, enough with the boring shit.
Yeah,
Let's get
sorry,
right
my
to
mind's
it.
going in a fucking loop. But like you said, we still have a couple sports topics we can talk about. Like I know I've seen on TSN's Twitter a couple times the thought of expanding NHL playoffs to more teams because of the suspension of the season. I'm curious what you think of that. Like, how many teams do you think they'd have to expand it to make that make sense for teams?
What is it right now? 16 teams?
Yeah, it's 8 teams from each conference.
Okay, I didn't read that. So like, what are you expanding to if you make it 16 teams? You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, all 31 teams are in on it. Like, how's it gonna work?
I don't agree with. I've seen a couple of things saying all 31 teams make the playoffs, but that would be a complete joke.
That'd be a shit show.
Like, I don't want to watch first round. I don't want to watch Boston play like Detroit. That'd be.
You can make it like Yeah, no, you could make it like March Madness style, I guess, where it's just single elimination.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I never thought of that. That would actually be interesting to watch.
But at the same time, like that just leaves for like the best teams in the league. If they have one bad game and they get upset, are you is the winner of the cup like actually the best team in the league? I think at this point, it kind of makes no sense to even have the playoffs. It would make way more sense just to cancel all the seasons and, start it back up in September. Because, if you get into the playoffs now, when are you going to start the next season? You're not giving the guys, you're not giving the players enough break into the next offseason. So, I don't know. At this point, it just it would be almost like an asterisk, kind of like Houston's win.
Yeah.
From cheating, it would just be like an asterisk, dude. Because you could have if you expanded the playoffs. First of all, what's the point?
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it the right way, just scrap it.
Yeah, I agree, and especially, I mean, you see NHL players probably put their bodies through the most damage and throughout sports playoffs because it's the longest and most physical. So I think they put their bodies through the most damage throughout that time. And I mean, it's kind of hard to, these guys have been going to probably take a month to 2 months, maybe even 3 months off of hockey. And then you want to throw them right back in and throw them right into playoff hockey. I don't think that's going to be very smart as far as health goes.
You'll get a shitload of injuries.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be a lot more injuries and a lot more players trying to play through injuries. And by the time it's all said and done, the season's over. It'd be like 2 months until they'd have to jump back into their next season, which I know the NHL said that was their biggest concern, was making sure that next season starts on time. Well, if next season starts on time, you don't finish this season till August. That's not a lot of time for players to regroup and heal any injuries they might have. So I agree with you. I think the leagues should start looking at scrapping their seasons, licking their wounds, bite the bullets, and get ready for a great season next year.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I think you shut it down at this point. And it's different from the lockout season where it was about money. At this point, it's a global pandemic. You can't control it.
You just got to let it ride its course.
Yeah, it would almost be and it's going to bring up a lot of questions. If they cancel the season, you'll get your pissed off fans that they canceled the season. But if you don't cancel the season and something happens and this global pandemic lasts a year because they were letting fans back in the arenas or players kept spreading it, whatever, there's just going to, I don't think at this point they can make a decision that's going to please everybody.
No.
Because, fans are going to be selfish and they're going to want to see playoff hockey or playoff basketball or the MLB season pick up, whatever. But, I don't know. With the circumstances the way they are, I think you just scrap the season and take your losses, and then, you roll into next season.
Yeah.
And start it on time.
Absolutely.
Because, the worst case scenario, you start the playoffs, you try to get that push in there, and, you do it just based on the fact that, fans are itching to get sports back. And then you screw everybody over, and the pandemic lasts longer, and then you can't start next season on time because you try to force in a playoffs from the previous season. So, I don't know. I think you just shut it down. So I don't like the idea of expanding playoffs. If you're going to have the playoffs, take the playoffs teams, the teams that are in playoff position right now, take them. But then again, you're raising the questions of those teams that are going to miss the playoffs by a point.
Yeah.
With games in hand or something, and everyone's going to be up in arms about that. So I think to avoid the most controversy, I think the NHL and the NBA should just suspend the seasons. But if they are going to start the seasons back up again, I think it's going to be no fans, which isn't very fun in the first place.
Yeah, no.
Imagine a March Madness or an NBA playoffs buzzer beater. Imagine the Kawhi bounce without fans. It'd still be a hype shot to watch, but part of it is watching, even on TV, part of it's watching the crowd reaction, and it makes it way better.
half of like the magical moments in sports is like the crowd's reaction and like the roar you get from a crowd. It just makes it like 10 times better. So yeah, I definitely agree. Like watching the Kawhi bounce without any fans in the crowd, that wouldn't be as special of a moment, I don't think.
No, I agree. I remember watching the Baltimore Orioles game when there was riots going on in Baltimore, and there were no fans in the stands. And it was cool for like a game because I remember Chris Davis hit this like 450-foot bomb, and you could hear where it hit, and like all the foul balls that were hit into the stands, you could hear how loud it like banged off the seats. Like that was cool for a game, but like if we went through like a whole playoff series like that, I think it'd just be stupid, dude.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it would take away from how special those moments are. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's time. We're almost getting to the point where it's time to cancel the seasons and let's
shut it down.
Let's think about next year.
I'm thinking about the MLB, and I think they're gonna have a shortened season anyway.
Yeah, I think.
I think they're looking at like an 80-game season if they get going.
Which honestly might not be a bad thing for them. I don't
honestly,
think.
Dude,
I think
that'd be awesome.
I think if they had an 82 game season like the NHL and NBA, I think that might benefit them because I think 160 games is way too much.
162 games. Yeah, I mean, they do 162 just because, I mean, that's the way it's been played, but also where you're calculating all the averages. I guess in the end, it makes sense to calculate them all out based on a 162 game stretch. How they come up with the numbers, dude, I have no idea. I'm not that smart. But I think it'd be interesting to watch. And I mean, being an optimistic Jays fan, where you have such a young team, those young teams could actually benefit from a shortened season.
Exactly.
And because I think you're going to have your teams that come out and they're going they'll have 60-20 records, like the top teams of the league, maybe the Yankees, or like a 50-30 record, something like that. And those will be your playoff teams. But if you have a shortened season, like 80, and you have a team that goes 40-40, for example, they're in the hunt the whole season.
Exactly.
And I think that'd be fun for the fans of teams that are not as big of markets. I know we chirped the Marlins the other day on Twitter, which is just fucking hilarious, first of all. If you don't know what we're talking about, you can check out our Twitter. The MLB introduced
social media plug.
An idea. Yeah. the MLB introduced an idea where they're looking into MLB teams playing in front of no fans inside of spring training ballparks. And credit to our producer for coming up with this one. We said, so there'd be no changes for the Miami Marlins other than them playing in a spring training ballpark. So, but for teams like that, dude.
Bravo.
Where teams like the Jays last year struggled for attendance. I am a Jays fan, but I'm just using them as an example. They struggled for attendance because they didn't produce a winning ball club. But now when you have a young, hungry ball club, and you're coming out into an 80-game season, and you're I think we can pull off 45 wins in this 80-game stretch. That just keeps them, you get there before the dog days of August, and you're in the hunt the whole season. I think it would actually make for really good entertainment, and it would bring a lot more fans that aren't baseball fans, or a lot of people that aren't baseball fans, and actually convert them to baseball fans because of this. It's basically since game one, you're playing for a playoff spot. Those teams that are usually out of it by August are now in it the whole season. So I think that would actually be very interesting. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think that would actually be super entertaining.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think that would be very entertaining to watch. Because I know I definitely don't watch much baseball regular season just because of how many games they play and how many games that don't mean much that they play, that there's not a lot of meaning to a lot of games, so I skip out on watching it. But if they had a shortened season, I'd definitely watch.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, 2 nights ago, I was up at 4 a.m. and I flicked on Game 5 of the ALDS, so the bat flip game, Joey Bats.
What a game.
And I watched the whole thing. I was up till like 7 a.m. But I just feel like if you had like an 80-game season, like every game would mean just that much more.
Yeah,
it'd be so entertaining to watch. So, and it was just like, you really see what managers are like super good managers. And, you know, you're watching like your young rookies like Tatis Jr., Soto, Bichette, Vlad. You're seeing these guys and they're going to come out and they're, you know, second year in the league, but they're going to be making a push for their team to make the playoffs. And I just think it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, I think we can move on from that. We definitely think that seasons should be canceled, maybe delayed until this is over. We definitely think the respective leagues should be smart about this and definitely not try to push anything. Let's get this passed. So moving on, we have a little bit more sports talk. I think we have the Basketball Hall of Fame. They named 3 inductees for this year's Hall of Fame. We have Lakers player Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, and Tim Duncan being inducted to this year's Hall of Fame. I really don't have much to disagree with about those 3 picks. What do you think?
Neither do I. I think all 3 are very deserving of it. All 3 had great careers. Tim Duncan's just a beauty.
Oh,
we all know about Kobe, but Tim Duncan's a beauty.
Tim Duncan, talk about a silent assassin. Like, my God. He'll drop 30 on you with an absolute straight face. You don't even know what emotion's going through his body.
That's true. And Kevin Garnett was a player I always respected. Dude, I fucking hate the Celtics. Not just because they're out of Boston, but just being a Raps fan, I find it's a bit of a rivalry. Whether that's just me, I don't know. But, you know, I just don't like the Celtics. But Kevin Garnett was a player that I've always respected. Yeah. And for him to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, I think he's 100% deserving. I think all 3 players are definitely deserving, especially Kobe.
Absolutely. I mean,
but like, I guess we can talk about this too, because I was going to ask like who your favorite player on a hated team was for each sport, but we can continue with basketball first. But I just think all 3 are like, from each team they played for, you think about them when you think about like the face of the franchise.
Exactly, yeah. And
in their respected times.
Yeah, and I mean, like Kobe, you knew from when he retired to the tragic incident that happened this year that I mean, he was going to be the Hall of Fame.
2020's really fucking us, man.
Yeah, it's not really a great year. But yeah, you knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer as soon as he retired. But
before he retired, you knew he was.
Yeah, but they kind of quickened the transition period from retired to Hall of Famer once with the tragic incident this year. But I still think he's absolutely deserving. I mean, he could go down. I think you could make an argument that he's a top 5 player of all time. And then moving to Kevin Garnett, again, absolutely deserving. He's an intense guy, kind of a weird guy, but he's an intense as hell. Like, I
always remember his interview, dude, where he's like, anything's possible.
Yeah.
It's one of the best sports interviews I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny as hell, but yeah, he's definitely deserving. And Tim Duncan, like I said, the silent assassin. Well, you don't even know if he's happy, sad, mad, or just an intense guy, but, you know, he'll drop 30 on you.
You could add confused in there.
Yeah, confused. Yeah, he looked dazed.
He has a very confused look. Yeah.
Yeah, very dazed, but again, very deserving players. All 3 are absolute legends. So, I think they're very deserving.
I agree, 100%. I have nothing. I mean, we argue a lot, but I don't have anything to argue there.
No,
if you're a basketball fan and you argue any of those 3 picks,
please tell me what your argument.
Head out of your ass.
Please tell me what your argument is, because like we don't know what we're talking about. So tell us what.
I'd be willing to listen.
Tell us what your argument is, and you might be right. I don't know, but probably not, because we're probably right.
Yeah.
So
you can't have a wrong opinion. I've always been told that.
No, you can't. Opinions are never wrong. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
You can have a stupid opinion, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But you
that's
can't have
for
a
sure.
wrong opinion.
No one can tell you it's wrong, but I can tell you you're stupid. So you said what's my most liked player on a most hated team?
4 major sports: NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA.
Okay.
Who's your first of all? Name your most hated team from each of those 4 sports, but then name the player that you still kind of like on each of those teams.
Okay. So NHL, I'm gonna go with Boston. Fucking hate them. For what was it? MLB, I'm going the Yankees.
Yeah.
NFL, I'm going Patriots.
Dick.
And NBA, I don't really have a hated team for the NBA, to be honest with you.
Pick
but
one.
I'll go with the Sixers. I don't like the Sixers. I don't hate them, but I don't like them. So
Okay,
those are my 4 teams. Okay, then players. So for the Bruins, I'm gonna go with Patrice Bergeron. Can't hate him. And I'm gonna go with for MLB for the Yankees. I'm gonna go with Jeter.
100%.
I find Bergeron and Jeter are kind of similar because they're kind of like they play for the most hated teams in their league, but nobody can say a bad thing about either one of them.
True.
So then for NFL, I'm gonna go with Gronk. I love Gronk. I don't know if you can name a bigger cartoon character than Gronk. And then for I don't know why I said the Sixers. I don't like anybody on them, but I don't like Joel Embiid, so that's my pick.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, what about you?
Okay. Starting with the NHL, I'm going to go Leafs.
Ooh, okay.
NBA, Celtics.
Okay.
NFL for me, I mean, being a Pats fan, we beat everybody. So it's hard to really hate on a team.
Fuck you, dude.
But I'm going to go Cowboys.
Okay, I like it.
And then MLB, Yankees. So starting with the Yankees, you already said it, Derek Jeter. He's the captain. He's the guy that I don't care who your favorite team is. You could be a Red Sox fan. The only reason you would hate Jeter is because he played for the Yankees.
I mean, dude,
that would be your only reason for not liking Jeter. Jeter was just a flat-out beauty, respectable guy, kind of like the Mike Trout of his time. Not as good, obviously. Mike Trout's the best baseball player I've ever seen with my face. But when it comes to personality and what he did for the game, Jeter just had it all. And he would definitely be my favorite guy that ever put on a Yankees uniform.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy that his last game was in Fenway Park, and he got a standing O from Red Sox fans. So, while playing for the Yankees, so
his final game
wasn't his final game against Boston.
No, he did have a final game in Boston, but his final game was a walk-off at Yankee Stadium.
Oh.
I think it was against Baltimore. His final at bat was a walk-off single or double, whatever.
What the fuck do I know?
Next, I'm going with the Celtics and Kemba Walker.
Okay.
I love Kemba. When I play NBA Blacktop, I always use Kemba one-on-one. I'm not good at the game, so fuck off, all right? But I just like him. Kind of he's super good, but he's also kind of super quiet too. He doesn't complain to the refs after every single call.
Fair enough.
Like a lot of superstars do.
Kyle Lowry.
For the Celtics, he's my favorite. Okay, whatever, dude. NHL, so Leafs. Now, the thing about the Leafs is that not only do I hate their team, this is hard for me to pick a player that I actually like on the Leafs. But I'm going to go with Jake Muzzin.
Okay.
And that's just because I had him in fantasy a couple years ago, and he absolutely fucking tore it up for me. So shout out Jake Muzzin, thank you.
Okay, that's a little out of left field pick, but I like it.
And what am I meant? Oh, NFL.
Cowboys.
So the Cowboys. My favorite player on the Cowboys, I think I'm gonna go with Ezekiel Elliott. I respect Dak Prescott. I think he's a great quarterback. They just placed a franchise tag on him too, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna have a pretty good career. But I don't know. I just like Elliott. He's a tank, dude.
Yeah, he's a monster. I definitely like. I'm not a big Cowboys guy either, but if I had to pick one player on there, I definitely take Zeke. Zeke's just an absolute freak. Hey, see what I did there?
Yeah, great, good one, dude. Good one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Working on it all day.
Yeah, no. So Jeter, Muzzin, Elliott, and Walker. Those would be my four.
I respect those picks. I think the Muzzin one's a little out in left field, but
well, like the only reason I picked Muzzin, because again, like I'm a Tampa fan, and Toronto causes so many problems for Tampa. So like it's tough to say Matthews, it's tough to say Marner, Nylander, just because they tear up Tampa. But Muzzin, a couple of years ago, I was in a fantasy league, and he tore it up for me. So that's the only reason I went with Muzzin. I had him when he was on LA, and he destroyed fantasy for me. So it was kind of great, but once he went to the Leafs, I was like, oh, fuck. All right. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of tough for me to pick a favorite player on the Leafs just because, like, whenever Tampa's playing the Leafs, I'm like, fuck the Leafs. But
yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair. I get that. I think I would have taken probably would have taken Matthews or even someone like Freddie Anderson. I think might have been my pick for the Leafs.
All right. Well, sorry, I'm not a bandwagoner, Haji. I could have easily said their best player, but I didn't want to.
Because I'm jumping on the Leafs bandwagon anytime soon.
The only people jumping on the Leafs bandwagon are the fucking Leafs fans. So.
Oh, don't shit on them too much. We need a fan base, and that's the easiest one to get at. So if you're listening, we love the Leafs. We love Raptors.
They're just the Jays. The Leafs, love them. They're just my least favorite team ever.
We love to shit on them. There you go. So kind of moving on from that one, I had a topic I wanted to bring up to you. I think I talked to you about it a couple weeks back. I was going on I don't know, it wasn't a couple weeks back, it was a couple days back. My head is in an absolute fucking loop right now. I was going on one of those nice drives I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
And pull up to a red light. I think it was on Dunbrack right by the new NSLC to go. And I look over to my right. There's a guy at the red light beside me, and he has headphones in while he's driving. There's not another person in the car. He just had his headphones in. I'm curious to hear what you think about that, because I'm like, why the fuck do you have headphones in while you're driving? Like, you're a complete douchebag.
I mean,
have you ever heard of an auxiliary cord or Bluetooth?
The only reason I can think of that he would have headphones is because he didn't have an aux or his radio was busted or something. But if you have like a working radio, just hit the power button. It's not that hard. It'll start playing music, I guarantee it. But at the same time, like, I've been in a car that has like a busted speaker, and it sounds fucked. Like, it does not sound good at all. I'd rather listen to nothing.
I agree.
But headphones when you're driving it's just a weird look. Like, it's kind of like one of those things you pull up, you look over. I don't know why. It's just people get curious when you pull up to someone or you're passing them on the highway. I don't know why. It's just kind of like instincts to like look at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird look for sure, and I don't get why you can't plug in your phone to your stereo, or like even like I think you mentioned to me when I brought it up to you. It's like, why the fuck wouldn't you just use buy a Bluetooth speaker?
Yeah.
Just put it in your dashboard. It works just the same. I've
done that too. Bring a Bluetooth speaker into the car with you, and use that for your drive. It works perfectly.
It works just as good.
Yeah, and you look that kind of looks weird too. I won't lie to you, having a speaker in your car playing, but it's a lot less weird than headphones when you're driving.
Oh, it looks way less weird than having headphones in, and they weren't even AirPods. Like it's not like he forgot to put them in or take them out or anything like that. No, they were corded. Like I just like I could see the only way I could see it is like, say if you're in the car with, I don't know, say your kids or like a couple buddies, and you got to take like a personal call or something that like they don't need to hear or it's none of their business to hear. Then I could see why you might throw in a pair of headphones just to have that phone call. But like if you're just driving to listen to music and you're listening to music through your headphones in the car while you're driving by yourself with a fully functioning radio, and I know the car he was driving, and I know for a fact that it has Bluetooth in that car. I don't get the point behind it.
I don't know. They're the same people that'll tell you it hits different. Is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the same people that might use a spoon for Kraft Dinner, eh?
Oh, dude. Okay, so thank you for everyone who voted and
I don't know.
backed me right up. Because
I don't know why I just teed you up for that.
Because last week on episode 2, Haji got at my life for saying I use a fork for Kraft Dinner. So, of course, I had to put a poll up on the Instagram. And, Haji, do you want to know the final tally on that?
It was huge advantage to the fork.
Yeah, it was 41-14 fork over spoon. So, all right, let me get this straight. Because you also said you microwaved your KD.
Yep.
So...
I'm a proud microwaver.
So, all right, I'm going to set the scene here. It's 2:30 in the morning. You just got home from Boomers. You go to the kitchen looking for a snack, and you say, "Oh, seems like a appropriate time for some KD." You put it in the fucking microwave.
Whoa. You're first of all, huge flag right there. You're gonna turn on the oven at 3 a.m. when you're piss hammered drunk?
Yeah.
Do I need to remind you about that pizza in the oven story you told me about last year?
Okay, well, that was pizza. This is on the stove top, all right? You can't forget about something that's sitting on the stove, all right? You can definitely forget about something that's sitting in the oven until you smell the pizza on fire. But here's the thing. All right, so you're coming home and you're like, all right, you're stumbling into the kitchen. You take out the box of KD. You put it in your microwave. First of all, there's weird move number 1. And then when it comes out, you go into your drawer and you say, oh, what utensil am I going to use? And you take out a spoon. And then let me guess.
Yeah.
And then let me guess. You go to bed when you're finished eating it and you sleep with your fucking eyes open.
No, I don't do that. I'm not a complete psychopath. Is it maybe not the most traditional way of making Kraft Dinner? Yeah, it's probably not. Is it still incredibly delicious? Yes, it really still is. I think you would be pleasantly surprised if you tried your Kraft Dinner in the microwave and then ate it with a spoon.
Now, that's something that would hit different for sure. I'm not saying it would hit different in a good way, but it would hit different.
It hits great. Thank you very much. And you can't knock it until you fucking try it, asshole. Okay? So how about you give it a whirl? How about you give it a whirl before you put me on blast?
Okay, well, you put me on blast before we even put that poll up. I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just saying 3 times as many people will use a fork.
All I said was, "Oh God." I didn't say anything bad. I didn't call you fucked or anything like that, because I know a lot of people use fork the same way a lot of people will use the oven rather than the microwave. But everybody I have gotten to try it in the microwave has enjoyed it. So fuck off.
Well, you can't really you can't. Oh my God! I was just about to say you can't fuck up KD, but listen to this.
Okay, I have a great story to tell you about that after.
Last year, we were day drinking at Acadia up on it was Saturday.
Shocker.
And yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But me and my buddy were like, yeah, let's just cook up a pot of KD. And so we make the KD, and I made the KD because I'm going to take full credit for this, full responsibility, I should say. And we start eating it, and we were like, holy fuck, this tastes like shit. And it was supposed to be like the white cheddar KD, I guess. Yeah. And so we're eating that. I'm like, this tastes terrible. And I get a snap later on that night, and it was my friend, and he was like, you're the biggest idiot I've ever met. And I was like, what are you talking about? He sent me a picture of the packet of cheese that comes in the box, still full. So literally all I did was cook the noodles, strain them, and then we just ate it. We just ate the plain noodles. I was like, oh, that explains why it tasted like absolute shit. Oh, so you hilarious. Can fuck up KD.
You can. And my to go along with your story, it was probably about a year or two ago, sitting at home. It's just me and my sister at home. And she goes, I'm gonna make up some KD. You want some? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd love some. So she throws it in the microwave because that's the Hodgson way. She puts it in for 3 minutes, and it comes out, and she opens it. It comes out. She opens the microwave, pulls the bowl out, and it's black.
This is why you cook it on the fucking stove.
And we're like, Nick, what the fuck did you do? And she's like, oh shit, I forgot to add the water. So this Kraft Dinner had melted into the bowl and was completely black.
And then you ate it with a spoon.
So yeah, I tried to scoop it out with a spoon. That didn't work. Also couldn't stab it with a fork, but anyway. But yeah, you really can fuck up Kraft Dinner.
Wow, I feel so much better about myself after hearing that story.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. I always remind her that too. She also tried to make a hot chocolate out of our Keurig thing, and she forgot to put the mug under the dispenser.
Oh,
and it came pouring out all over the kitchen.
I would say that I've never heard of that, but this year that happened to one of my roommates. He was making a coffee in the morning, and he goes, Fulton! And I was like, what? He goes, look at this shit. And I look over, and the counter is just covered in coffee. The counter's covered in coffee, and I was like, what the fuck did you do? And he was like, I forgot the mug. And I was like, that's literally the one thing you had to remember.
Yeah, that's the only thing you need to remember with Keurig. Just like the only thing the only thing with the Kraft Dinner in the microwave you need to remember is water.
It's not the end of the world. Now we just have a coffee stained counter. Forever.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, no, that's too good. I kind of like being home because like you're not on your diet of just eating like Kraft Dinner with like, I don't know, chuck some, I don't know, hot dogs in it, whatever you want. But man, like being home, we've stayed up on FaceTime a million times this break so far, quote unquote break. And we've got into virtual sports betting. And
yes, we have.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a problem yet. I think it's a lot more fun than it is a problem so far. Why don't you tell our listeners here just exactly what we've been doing?
First of all, I would absolutely call it an issue. That since we don't have actual live sports to bet on, that we're betting on virtual sports.
Depends on who you ask.
That is absolutely an issue, like complete flag. But there's a group of 3 of us, and this topic was actually brought to us by the third member, Logan. We have started virtual sports betting. And, we've had a couple nights where, we pool our money together, throw it in a pot, and we'll start start betting. We've done hockey, we've done MLB, we've done some NFL, we've even done some NBA. It gets quite exciting. I think the funnest that we did actually was we went to I got this idea from another podcast, where we go on YouTube, we go find a Royal Rumble, WWE Royal Rumble that none of us have seen before. We click play at the same time. We pick a respective wrestler that we think will win, put our money down on it, and I think it's quite exciting. I personally wouldn't. I would absolutely call it an issue. I still think it's fun because I have not owned up to the fact that I have a gambling issue yet. But I think it's fun, and and if anybody wants to join in on it, they're absolutely more than welcome. Bigger pots, more money. But yeah, we've started doing that with No Sports. Done some home run derbies, everything like that, and all I can say is I'm way out on top right now.
Yeah, I would actually call it a problem because I'm like $100 in the hole from it. I haven't won a single thing yet. When we did a shootout the other night, and I was like, oh, I'm taking Tampa, duh. And I played 4 rounds of a shootout. And I mean, it was a computer, but they scored 1 goal total.
Yeah, I actually have the stats right here because I'm a big tournament coordinator.
You don't need to do that.
Fulton went 1-2, had 2 goals for and 4 against.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good showing, but me on the other hand, I picked my Dallas Stars. We went 3-0 and 4 goals for and 1 goal against. So definitely swept that one, but yeah, I mean virtual sports, it's the new way to bet. I did actually see on Bet365 you can now bet on video games, so I might start putting money on that. I put some money down on some Fortnite winners.
I had that app before all the leagues shut down, and I wasn't doing well on real sports, so I don't think I should take it into fake sports now. That's just asking to lose a bunch of money.
I saw like greyhounds on there and stuff like that. Like you can bet on the dogs. You can bet on, Fortnite winnings and stuff like that. So you never know. Might get if I even get a little bit more bored than I am right now, which is incredibly fucking bored. I might throw some money down on some Fortnite players. Try to make some coin.
That's what you definitely call rock bottom.
That is an absolute problem. If I get to that point, I need to delete the app right away. But yeah, do you want to maybe jump into some of the questions that we got? Because we have a load of questions this week.
Yeah, we have a shitload of questions.
Thank you for everybody for asking questions. It's definitely a lot more than last week.
I want to start with let's start with
I'll start off with
you have a couple fans here asking you personal questions.
I have 2 specific questions. I guess I'm just more popular than you. I must be better looking.
Yeah, dude, Jonah Hill's cousin has got it going on.
It was a joke. Anyway, move on. First question's from Thomas. It says, will you continue working after you become a famous celebrity? Absolutely.
No way.
Yes, that's a yes, absolutely. I'll keep working. I love the people I work with. They're so much fun to work with, and it's like a frat house, our little team. So I've been told I'm not allowed to leave, but I'll absolutely stay on once I become a mega Halifax star.
We got a sports question here from Brendan_Keeler. Who do you have winning the NHL this year when the season continues? First of all, that's a big when. I would put an if. I would put an if by that, but theoretically speaking, let's say the NHL picks back up. Who do you have winning?
That's a good question. There's actually, this year was going to be a good year for the playoffs. I thought there was going to be a lot of different teams that could have taken it. But personally, as much as I hate to say it, I think Boston would have been a very dangerous team. Yeah. And a dark horse team I think not a lot of people gave credit to, who could have been very dangerous in the playoffs, was Philly.
Yeah, I was never sold on Philly. I'll be honest with you.
I think they could have been a huge dark horse in the playoffs.
Yeah, I had them maybe going second round, but no further. Um, I don't I don't know. This year was pretty wide open for me. Like the Bruins are very good, but there's like I don't know how to like toot my favorite team's own horn here. But
You
like
just say it.
well, like Tampa Leafs is setting up to be a pretty good round. And then let's just, again, theoretically say Tampa wins that series, moves on to face the Bruins, who they've kind of had their number for the last few years. I mean, anything happens there. And Tampa would be playing with a little bit of fire from last year. And I think they're a more complete team this year than they were last year, but it's essentially the same roster. So, and I mean, again, a little bit of favoritism in the fact that I follow them the most and I watch their games the most. But I had Tampa coming out with fire, and if you had Stamkos back, if the season picks up again and they'll have Stamkos back, I think they're a team no one's gonna want to fuck with.
No, I definitely agree. Tampa, after what happened last year and learning a huge lesson about that it's not just all skill, I think they definitely could have been a dangerous team for sure. But and I mean, they could still have, like you said, they still have the same team, but that doesn't mean they didn't learn something from last year.
No, 100%. I think they changed completely. Last year they were scoring like 5-6 goals night after night, but they were also giving up 4 or 5 goals when they were scoring 5 or 6. And this year it was more like they were winning kind of the more grittier games, the 2-1 games, the 3-2, 4-3, those kind of games. And those are the games that you need to win when it comes to playoff time, because you're not going to be putting up 6 goals a game in the playoffs.
Exactly.
So I still think they're the most skilled team in the NHL, but I also think all it took was them getting kind of more of a defensive mindset, which they took on this year. And I think they're just a more complete team than they were. And that's why I think they were honestly the most dangerous team heading in.
Yeah. I agree. I can see that for sure.
But, I mean, we'll see. If the season picks back up on, which I hope it does, because then that gives us a lot to talk about. But also, I just think, we're going to have to pick up on this conversation next year. I don't like the chances of it picking back up this year.
Yeah, for sure. So next question from our lovely producer, Will Harrington. Do you guys like horror movies? I feel like this is a shot directly at me.
I don't mind him. I don't watch them alone because I eat Katie with a fork. I cook it on the stove, so I don't watch horror movies alone. But Haji, I mean, I know you aren't I know you're not a big fan of these, so I'll let you. Talk about that.
I absolutely hate horror movies with a passion, and I am the biggest pussy when it comes to horror movies. In the fact that if someone has one on, I will not watch it. I get absolutely terrified. Even, being 21 years old, I still can't get past the fact that they're not real. Even though I know they're not real, it's still... I hate being scared. That's the thing. I hate being scared. I hate when people jump out at me and scare me. I hate... I hate that shit. I hate horror movies. I hate all that kind of stuff. It's not my thing. Let me tell you, actually, the first time I ever hung out with Will in the same group with him, we were at Dylan's. There was a large group of us, probably about 6 or 7, maybe something like that. We were gonna watch a movie, and of course, Will, being Will, of course, is he's looking for us to watch a horror movie. I'm like, no. We can't watch a horror movie. We can't. I hate them. I don't want to watch them. Will, no, he wants to watch a horror movie. I'm like, all right, just put it on. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna pay attention. So in the middle of this horror movie, everyone looks over. I am laying on the couch, hat over my eyes, hood up, and I'm legit not listening. I hate horror movies. They scare the hell out of me. I turn into the biggest pussy ever. And I wish I liked them. I legitimately wish I liked them. But I don't. I hate them. And so I actually had to leave Dylan's like halfway through the movie. I had to leave.
Oh
I had to leave
my
and go
God.
home. I had to leave. Like, I cannot watch them. I can't. I went to see The Conjuring in theaters with Noah and Keeler. Actually, Keeler would laugh about this. This was back in high school. I think it was the summer after grade 10, I think. And we went to see The Conjuring. I got so scared I had to put my headphones in that were in my pocket. And I listened to Up in the Air by Will I Am on repeat because it was the loudest song on my phone.
I don't know what's weirder, driving with headphones or watching a movie in the theater with headphones in.
But I actually had an excuse to watch the movie with headphones in, on the fact that I was absolutely terrified and shitting my pants. Yeah, I didn't sleep for like 2 weeks after watching that movie. And I remember in junior high, I got tricked into going to seeing a horror movie that was called Mama, because I thought it was for some reason I thought it was like a Mamma Mia kind of movie. No, it was not. It was not in the slightest that kind of movie, and I was absolutely terrified. So yeah, there's a couple of stories that will give a lot of people reason to think I'm an absolute pussy. But yeah, I don't hide the fact I hate horror movies. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And I feel like that was our producer out to get me.
My answer is a lot shorter. I don't mind them. I mean, like, if you're in a group and we watch a horror movie, we watch a horror movie, whatever.
Like, remember in junior high, like, if you were going to the movies with a girl, it was absolutely 100% going to be a horror movie. That was not me.
No.
No, that was not me. I was not going to see a horror movie.
Oh, you know what I did watch? I watched on Netflix The Haunting of Hill House. And that's a TV series, but it's like a...
That sounds horrifying.
It's like a horror TV series.
Oh.
And that show fucked me up, man. Like, not just
fuck
like
that.
It was like moderately scary, but like it just kind of fucks with your head too. And I'd recommend it. It's a good show, but like it definitely fucked with me.
No, I'm not for that shit. Like, even Stranger Things, I didn't even like that show. Like, not because it scared me. Like, it didn't scare me. I just didn't like that kind of shit. Like, it still was kind of freaky or kind of like jump out at you, thriller type stuff. And yeah, I'm definitely not for that. But yeah, that's my opinion. I absolutely hate horror movies. I hate scary movies. I hate thrillers. I hate them all. The worst for me is the supernatural shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
The worst for me is the supernatural. Supernatural legitimately fucks with my head. Like, if it's like some fucked up creature or like something like that in the movie, like I'm fucked for like at least 2 weeks. Okay, I don't know how I don't know how I'd last in a horror movie now, because I haven't watched one in I'd say probably at least 5 years. I might do better, being a lot grown up now and realizing that it's not real, but I don't even want to try.
Well, it's just a movie, dude. It's not gonna bite you. I'll tell you that. But
it fucks with my head, dude. It fucks with my head.
We'll go see one. We'll see how you do. We'll record the whole thing too. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be entertaining content. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
This next question, something tells me we're not gonna agree on it. This comes in from
I don't think either of us are gonna agree on this.
No, that's what I mean. Like, this one comes in from Emmy Camo. Who can finish a pitcher of beer first? Haji's gonna say him, and I'm gonna say me, and we're both gonna give our different reasons. Haji, you first. Go for it.
I went first on the last one. You go first.
All right. Me. But I will also rip on both of us in this too, because
okay.
I think I can drink faster than you. I think you could probably drink more beers than me. But if it's just one pitcher, we're completely sober first. And it's, all right, here's a pitcher, finish it. I think mine be toast before yours. And but what I will say is there was one night, Haji and I, after a night out downtown, we went to a restaurant. I think it was East Sides.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I remember that night.
And we sit down, and I'm not feeling too hot.
No, it was BP.
It was BP.
It was BP.
I'm not feeling too hot at all. And Haji, we sit down at our table, we order our food. They ask for their drinks. And me and Haji, we were kind of discussing. We were like, should we get a pitcher? And we never really kind of came to an answer. There was no yes, there was no no. And he said, yeah, we'll get a pitcher of Budweiser, please. And as soon as he said that, I was like, fuck. So she brings us our food, she brings us our pitcher. I think we left the thing half full.
Oh, it was more than half full.
So
I didn't even finish my first glass.
Two of us didn't even finish a whole pitcher.
But that was after a Moosehead game.
Oh, that's what it was.
We each collectively probably drank I'd say each of us drank probably about 2.5 pitchers at that Moosehead game.
Yeah, we dummied a lot of beers that night.
Like, I could barely stand.
I was not feeling too hot at all.
Yeah, I didn't even finish the food that was brought to me either. Like, I was not feeling great. But you know what? I'm going to surprise you here. I'm going to agree with you. And I'm going to say that you could probably finish a pitcher quicker than me. But like you said, I'm in it for the long game. And I confidently think I could finish more than you. Yeah. Like, in the long run, I could probably finish more. But yeah, if we're just doing a quick chug off, I'm not big on the chugging. But I think it'd be close, but I think you would probably pull out with the win. But I'd be more okay in the long run.
Okay, fair enough. This next question, I know we're not going to agree on it, and it's because we talked about it before.
This is a hot topic. This is a hot topic, and this is going to be on our Instagram. Finally,
somebody asks the question we've all been waiting for. This one comes in from Katie Baker. She wants to know, pineapple on pizza. What are your thoughts on pineapple on pizza?
Absolutely not. Yeah. It does not belong on a pizza. Fruit does not belong on pizza. So I'm just going to leave it there because I know you're going to go off on me.
All right, Hawaiian pizza, I fuck with Hawaiian pizza. It's not my favorite, but I'm not going to turn it down. I feel like the people that say pineapple doesn't belong on pizza are the same people that haven't even tried it, and they just like to jump on the bandwagon of, it doesn't belong on pizza because of the sound of it.
I've tried it. I don't like it. It doesn't belong there.
Okay.
It does not belong on a pizza the same way that like pepperoni or ham or sausage or bacon belongs on a pizza.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'd rather a Works pizza. And I fucking hate Works pizza that have pineapple on my pizza.
Me, I'm just like kind of a plain, like I just like pepperoni pizza. But like if Hawaiian's an option, I'm not going to say no to it just because there's pineapple on it.
I will absolutely not go for the pineapple pizza.
Well, we want to hear from our listeners. We will put up a poll on Instagram later on this week. And we want to hear what you guys think if pineapple belongs on pizza.
Absolutely.
And then we'll find out if I'll be 2-0 with forks for KD or 1-1 with pineapple on pizza. So I
have a funny feeling that you're not going to be 2-0.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see.
I have that feeling that I have that tingle that you're not going to be right on this one.
And then we'll follow up with a poll. Does Haji sleep with his eyes open? We'll see what that one has in store.
I feel like a lot of people will say yes to that one. Not really helping myself out. But our next question from Julia K. McDonald. She had multiple questions. First one is, what is the first thing you're excited to do after quarantine /isolation/distancing?
Leave my house.
Yeah, that's one of them.
I just want to go somewhere else.
I am excited to go out for food. That is the thing I'm most excited for. I'm also now, because I am now in almost complete isolation. So that means I am now cut off from hanging out with my girlfriend. I'm going to add her to the list of things I'm excited to see after. But I'm gonna go with going out for like food. I miss that. I miss going out for food.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I think the first thing that's going to be on the list is like a wing night with the fellas or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, though, sports picking back up. Like right now, we'd be ramping up things for the summer baseball league, and nothing's been happening there. So I'm excited to get back on the field too. It's gonna be kind of cool, but just not even worried about going out in public. That'll be kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the grocery store yesterday to pick up hamburger buns, and I mean, I had to go in, hands in the pockets, like my mouth was kind of like curled up into the collar of my sweater. But it felt really weird, you know. I was avoiding people. Like if people were walking towards me, I was walking away, and like kind of sidestepping people, and it felt really weird.
It's so hostile, man.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of almost anxiety on my part, like walking towards people, and like it felt unnormal to walk towards somebody, and that was really weird to me. So yeah, that's actually a really good one. I'm excited for there to be no more worrying when you're in a public place.
100%.
Like the first night we go down to Boomers is going to be at least $200.
I will be fucking out of my mind, hammered. I think it'll be a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be busy, so it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
So the bars, I'm definitely missing the bars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also saving money big time right now, so it's kind of a double-edged sword for me. Not going to bars, but yeah, that's we can move on to the next question, I guess.
Our final question: what is the best sport to watch? That's subjective.
That's
it depends.
That's
on what
a good question.
It depends on what you're into, I guess. Because I mean, there's some people that say, "Oh, I don't watch sports, but I watch the Super Bowl." So I guess their argument would be, "Oh, football's the best sport to watch."
And then there's some psychopaths who will say, "Oh, cricket's my favorite sport."
I mean, I've never heard that, but I think the most popular one you're going to hear in Canada anyway is hockey for the best sport to watch, just in general. But again, like, I guess it kind of depends on what you're into. For me personally, I don't really know. I don't really rank them, like what my favorite sport to watch is. I mean, I play baseball, so I love watching baseball. But like, I think hockey would be the most. I think hockey's kind of that sport where it's like, even if you're not a sports fan, you kind of enjoy watching a hockey game every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I think on like a big scale, I would say hockey's probably the best sport to watch in general. But then, I mean, you're going to get different answers from everybody. You're not really going to, you could have a room full of 100 people. You're not going to get 100 people saying the same thing.
No, I definitely agree. I'm going to say hockey's my number one. Obviously, I grew up playing hockey, so that's my favorite sport. And obviously, it's my favorite one to watch. But football's a close second for me. I'd say hockey and then football would probably be my most exciting sports to watch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So
I do like NBA too. I won't lie to you. I like watching the NBA.
I'm not as big on the NBA anymore watching it. Like, I'll more watch the playoffs. Like, the regular season means absolutely shit to me. But I do enjoy watching the Raptors in the playoffs.
Fair enough.
But that's pretty much all the questions we have for today. We do have a lot more in the bank that people did ask, and we're going to put those in the coming episodes, but definitely a big thanks to everybody that asked questions. We weren't expecting as many questions as we got, but we got a ton of them, so thanks for asking.
We do have a couple reviews here that we wanted to point out. If you'd like to help us out and head over to podcasts on your Apple device and look up Pylons With Opinions, click our page. You'll scroll down a little bit and you'll see there'll be 5 empty stars. You can click on whatever you want to rate our show. Click on that star, and then right below it says write a review, and you can, just say whatever. Here's an example. This one says, this is coming from a dog big P. What the P stands for can be up to your imagination here. The caption of it's great content. These boys know how to do a podcast. Clean, hilarious, great stories, podcast for the entire family. So something along those lines. Or if you want to say, I don't know, Fulton's a fucking goof or Hodges a beauty, whatever you want to say. We appreciate any review we get, any feedback, any stars, whatever. So that's, again, just on your podcast device. Look us up, scroll down a little bit, and the rest is kind of self-explanatory.
We did actually just get a review. It's a 5-star review from Bess Marvin. Is that, am I reading that right?
Bess Mavrin, I believe.
Bess Mavrin. Okay. It says, means a lot to me. It says, well, listen, pardon the pun. I've been dating this guy on and off for about 8 years, nothing serious, and he loves sports. It got me thinking that since we're getting married, I want to get invested in some of the things that he likes. For him, that means sports. So I thought to myself, podcasts are hot right now. My friend works for sports and told me to listen to this podcast. I put in my AirPods. Maybe you're driving with AirPods, who knows? That I got for my birthday last year. I loaded up the first episode of Pylons With Opinions. Man, it was good. I kept passing people on the sidewalk and screaming foul or offside, and I felt great the whole time. I ran into my ex, brackets, we just broke up a few weeks ago because he had to move here for a job, and said, you know, sports? And he said, when did you move here? And I just yelled, yellow card. and ran away. His new wife and baby are really cute, though. I even saw Tom Brady, at least I think so, and said, good move, Tom, referring to his trade to Canada. And he said, I went to the local bakery on my way home while still listening and grabbed a baker's dozen of cupcakes. I said, can you put some sports on them? And the chef said, what? And I said, you know, sports? And he just shook his head and gave me 6 donuts. I realized then how advanced my sports knowledge was. Just one listen, and not everyone could understand what I was saying anymore. These guys should be president. Then everyone can learn what I've learned. My husband and I finally have something to bond over. Well,
That's it. I should say it does not have to be as long as that one. That is the best review of a podcast
that was
I've ever
incredible.
seen in my fucking life.
Thank you.
Maverick,
yeah, your reviews don't have to be that long. You can just say, you know, great podcast, Hodgie's a psycho, or, you know, it was a good podcast and Fulton's hilarious, or anything like that, you know. But if it's anything below 5 stars, just keep it to yourself. But yeah, whatever you want to add, if you got suggestions, if you have comments, concerns, you know, send it our way. That was incredible. But we definitely know the bar has been set by Bess Mavrin.
Oh fuck. Yeah, if you keep your eyes on the Instagrams. We'll put up a poll here and find out what you guys think about pineapple on pizza. We already know what you think about what utensil to use for KD. And we found out that most of you are pretty normal.
To all those,
and that's it. If you want to drop us a review, thank you very much.
To all those people that commented spoons, I'm with you, and thank you. I appreciate it. But
there's not a whole lot of people that are.
You know what? The 14 that said spoons, thank you. Appreciate it. You're normal to me. So you know, this has been another episode of Pylons with Opinions. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Once again, remember to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at PylonsPod. You can reach us there to submit your questions. Remember that it is staff parking only outside, and all others will be towed, including from provincial parks. Yeah, have a fantastic week, everybody.